Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Madara raised Naruto after he was abandoned at age 4. Godlike Uchiha Naruto creates a new world peace, Mass Harem, Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Prologue. In a village hidden in the leaves lays a blonde 4-year-old boy named Naruto curled against a trash can. He had no home to go to, no one to take care of him, and no one to love him. While there were a few people who valued him, none of them had enough time to take care of him, so he was put in an orphanage. However, being sent to the orphanage was a glorified prison sentence for Naruto. All of the staff members knew that he held the Nine-Tails demon inside of him and blamed him for all the destruction and death that the fox had caused in the past. They would often encourage other kids to beat him and would only feed him just enough to live. But the outside was no different, as everyone saw him as the demon who killed their loved ones, instead of a 4-year-old child. If only the villagers knew about Naruto's parents, who were known as some of the greatest heroes in Konoha, how his life would be different. As Naruto woke up, his stomach growled in the cold winter season as a strange white-haired man with a strange wooden cane approached him. Out of fear, Naruto curled up into a ball. Flashback a few hours ago. The orphanage was a small run-down building near the outskirts of the village. Due to the lack of funding, some would have mistaken the orphanage for a building in the middle of a war zone. The building itself was small and in ruins. At the back of the orphanage there was a decent chunk of land for the kids to play with, but the once vibrant patch of grass had turned into a muddy swamp due to the years of neglect and the harsh weather conditions. Naruto, get out of here. How long have you been here for, and how long do you cause trouble here? I've had enough of you. I don't ever want to see you return here anymore. Do I make myself clear? Because next time I see you here I'll throw you out myself," shouted one of the angry staff members at the orphanage. Naruto didn't know what to say. He broke one of the special rules that only applied to him, which was he could only leave his room when he was called for, but he couldn't help it. It had been a few days since they called for him and he was on the borderline of starving to death. His survival senses had kicked in and made him follow the smell of food. Unfortunately for him, that led him to eating a few bites of one of the staff's bento boxes before getting caught. Although he hated the orphanage, he didn't know what to do if he got kicked out. "Please don't kick me out, I was so hungry. I won't do it again if you let me stay here. I'll do anything," Naruto pleaded to the staff member. "You shouldn't have eaten my lunch, you miserable bitch. Now get out of my face, you demon," shouted the staff. Naruto slowly walked to his room and packed up the little things he did have, such as a picture with him and Hiruzen, his surrogate grandfather and one of the few people who cared about him, and all his cloths. As Naruto left, the people at the orphanage were coming up with fake reports to give Hiruzen. They would often say Naruto was picky when they wanted to starve him, or say he ran away when they kicked him out. The only reason these fake reports worked was because Naruto always went along with the stories, as he didn't want to be a burden on his grandfather. Meanwhile, as Naruto walked around the village looking for a warm place to stay, he was stopped by a group of random angry villagers. They started shouting, "Die demon, go back to hell," as Naruto tried to run away, but his strength gave out due to his hunger. All he could do was take the beating while pleading for them to leave him alone. One of his biggest gifts and curse of housing the demon was his regeneration powers. Naruto could take beatings after beatings and look good as new, which allowed the villagers and everyone to hurt him even more. Flashback end. The strange white-haired man bent down and asked the blonde boy, "Are you hungry, kid?" Naruto flinched and looked at the old man as if he was a ghost. Ever since Naruto could remember, almost everyone he knew hated him for some reason. As his stomach growled some more, Naruto reluctantly asked, "Why are you talking to me? Everyone hates me and calls me a demon." The old man looked down in sorrow, empathizing for the sad orphan. As he knelt down beside him and said, "I only see a hungry kid, not a demon." For all his years Naruto had always been called demon, so much that part of him believed it was true and questioned the man, Well, if I'm not a demon, then how come everyone calls me that and I got kicked out of my house? Most of the villagers are blind fools and I'm neither blind or a fool. Now tell me, do you believe you're demon? For a solid minute there was nothing but silence, as this was the first time someone had told Naruto he wasn't a demon. No, but why do they keep calling me that and hurting me? The old man gave a quick smile as Naruto was slowly accepting the fact he wasn't a demon anymore. As I said, they are nothing more than blind fools. You said you got kicked out of your house, how about you stay with me for a while? I have a few extra rooms where you can sleep in. Naruto's eyes light up with tears of joy. For once he had hope of living in a place where everyone didn't hate him. If the old man wanted to hurt him, he would have done already, just like the other villagers. Yes, yes, I promise I won't do anything bad, Naruto shouted as his stomach growled even louder this time. Chuckling, the old man looked at Naruto and said, "Let's get going to our house now, Naruto, I have some food there." Jumping up and down, Naruto couldn't believe how great the day turned out to be for him. It went from being one of the worst days in his life to one of the best in a matter of minutes. Sure, but I have to tell Hokage Gigi that I'm going to be moving there. Also, what's your name, Gigi? The old man laughed. Only a 4-year-old kid would call the Hokage and himself Madara Uchiha one of the most infamous shinobi. Gigi like nothing. Don't worry about that, I know him pretty well and my name is Madara Uchiha and I'm your great-grandfather. Naruto immediately hugged his Madara as he finally had a family. Although he always thought of Hiruzen as a grandfather figure, Hiruzen wasn't always around for him as he was too busy running the village. They would only meet once a month for about an hour tops, or if he ended up in the hospital. Releasing his grip, Naruto looked up, wiping away the tears in his eyes, and said, "Gigi, you promise you won't leave me?" "No, as long as I'm living I'll be there for you. Now grab my hand and I'll take you to my house." As both of them left, a white Zetsu clone appeared and transformed into Naruto. After a few minutes, a strange lair. There were weird jars with different colored liquids and computer screens and a giant steel table in the middle of the room. A few minutes later, after exploring his new home, Naruto gathered his courage and asked Madara a question that had always been on his mind. "Can you tell me about my family?" Madara shrugged and knew that question would come eventually. However, luckily, he had spent a lot of time planning and thinking about how he would approach that answer. After taking a deep breath, he told Naruto, "You come from a strong line of shinobi. As I said, I'm your great-grandfather Madara Uchiha. I and one of my friends Hashirama founded the Konoha a long time ago. We were the strongest shinobi to ever live. But over the years we had a few disagreements about our idea for peace. I wanted to lead by an iron fist while Hashirama wanted to take a more democratic approach, which led us to have a big fight. After our fight I fell in a river and woke up in a small town and met your great-grandmother there as she took care of me. For a while I gave up on being a ninja and became a civilian and raised your grandfather there. Everything was working out perfectly. Then one night when I came back from a trip, I saw my wife and my son dead and left to get revenge. But I didn't know that my son was somehow able to survive. Over the next years I dedicated my life to pursuing peace and took in an apprentice who ended up betraying me and nearly killing me. For a while I was too weak to do anything besides have spies in the village who were able to find that I still had family living. But going back to your question, your dad is the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze, my grandson, and your mom is Kushina Uzumaki, a legendary Anbu captain who was nicknamed Red Death. When they were giving birth to you, the Nine-Tails Fox attacked the village and your parents died saving the village but had to seal the fox inside you to protect everyone. I'm sure they loved you. Also, Hiruzen couldn't tell you about them because they made a lot of enemies over their ninja careers." Naruto didn't know what to feel at first. On one hand, he had found out about his parents and that they didn't abandon him but also sacrificed their lives to protect him and the village. But on the other hand, he couldn't believe that the third kept such a secret from him. Looking at the confused boy, Madara knew that was a lot things to take in at once. Trying to cheer the young blonde up, he said, how about I get some ramen, then tomorrow I'll teach you to become the strongest ninja in all the elemental nations. On top of a tall building in Konoha stood a young 12-year-old boy with golden blonde hair and 3 distinct whisker marks at the side of his cheeks. However, at first glance most people would have mistaken him as a 16-year-old Jonin or battle-hardened veteran with his soul-piercing dark eyes as it saw the hardships of war. Physically he was 5 feet 8, tall as most adults, wearing a dark black cape covering a black, reddish jacket he wore underneath. Matching his cape, he also had dark Anbu-style pants with steel-toe boots. To his side he held a katana, a gift from his dead mentor. The past 8 years of his life was some of the hardest but happiest times he had experienced. He spent it training with his great-grandfather Madara Uchiha, who was a loving mentor figure but a strict tyrant of a trainer. Madara created a training schedule for him so intense that most people would have died within minutes and wouldn't settle for anything less than perfection. For example, Naruto would have to create hundreds of clones to learn all kinds of skills from assassination techniques to studying human psychology. While physically he had trained for 8 years, he mentally had over 800 years of experience under his belt. When he was 4, Madara performed a few operations on him to make his body stronger. He had injected Naruto with both his and Hashirama's DNA and gave him a bone infusion from a Kagaya clan member who had a special bone density of over 20 times the average human. The results of Madara's experiments were monstrous. Naruto's healing factor grew even more as Hashirama's famous healing factor only added to Naruto's Uzumaki lineage and the 9 Tails healing factor. Also, with Hashirama's cells he was able to unlock wood release. With Madara's cells it heightened his Uchiha lineage, quickly unlocking the Sharingan. At age 8 Naruto began his career as a bounty hunter, taking down BC-ranked ninja because Madara wanted to give him more field experience. Hiding his identity, Naruto wore a fox mask whenever he went on missions. At age 10 Naruto unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan as Madara used Tsukuyomi and made Naruto believe that he killed him. A few months later they traded eyes and Naruto unlocked the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. By the time he reached 12 Naruto had started collecting bounties from SA-ranked ninjas, became a legendary bounty hunter with the nickname Shadow Fox as people believed he was always lurking in the dark. Some of his most notable kills were 5 of the great swordsmen of the Mist and Utakata, the 6-tailed Jinchuriki who Naruto later absorbed using some seals he learned from one of his training trips to his mother's home, the land of whirlpools. As Naruto stood on top of the building he realized that Konoha, the place where he was born, became foreign to him. He had little to no memories of his childhood as he was taken in at an early age. Had it not been for Madara he wouldn't have came back. Instead he would have been leading his group of bounty hunters, assassins. Flashback: last night, Naruto had just arrived back to the lair after collecting the bounty of a S-ranked ninja called the Diamond Fang. He wanted to check up on Madara as he spent the last year or so training a group of villagers he rescued during a coup d'état that he led for a small village. When he arrived he saw Madara laying on his bed. Madara looked pale and was skinnier than what Naruto remembered, as the old Uchiha leader was losing his battle against age. He was nothing more than a shell of his former self. Normally, he would have waken up at the presence of Naruto in the lair, but it appeared he had gotten weaker over the years. Walking over to the dying old man, Naruto tapped him on the shoulder, wondering if he was still alive. For the past few years Madara's health got worse and worse. There were many times where Madara had told him that he felt his time nearing an end, trying to prepare his great-grandson for his departure. A soft grunt was heard as Madara began to wake up. "I've been waiting on your return. For the past few weeks, I've sensed that my time is at an end. But don't be sad, as I have one last mission for you. No matter what, promise me that you will restore the Uchiha legacy and finish my dream of world peace by starting with Konoha. Remember to watch out for Obito and that I will always love you as you are my family. Also, don't revive me, as I had spent my time here long enough. I've taught you everything I know, and no matter what happens I will always be proud of you." Madara grabbed a pill on his dresser, and as he swallowed it, as he began his journey of eternal slumber, Naruto began to tear up. As much as he tried preparing himself mentally for this moment, he couldn't help himself. He had just lost the only family he had right in front of his eyes. He picked up his former mentor as he took him outside to get one last look at him. As Madara didn't want to be revived again, the only way to make sure that happened would be to burn his body. It was an ancient Uchiha tradition only given to the strongest of warriors so that they could rest in peace on the other side and never return. Kaiden fire style majestic destroyer flame as sea of red flames engulfed Madara's body, leaving nothing but ashes which would float off as the wind blew. It was a tribute to his old mentor as that was his favorite jutsu to use. Flashback end. As Naruto stood on top of the building, he spent a few minutes thinking about how he would complete his mission. He knew that the first thing he would have to do is kill his blood clone to get its memories. Madara had him create it a few months after he took him in. A blood clone is an advanced clone jutsu that creates an independent version of the user. But a major drawback: the clone believes itself to be a real person, and the only way to dispel it would be to kill it. Some benefits of using a blood clone is that it's stronger and more durable than any other type of clone, and that after getting dispelled the caster will be able to relive all the experiences that the clone did. Naruto, thanks to the help of Zetsu, was able to sneak into the village undetected and had a general understanding of the surroundings of the village. Additionally, he had gotten reports on some of the big events that happened in the village and places where his clone would frequently visit. Zetsu's report told him that besides his house, the clone would often be at Ichiraku Ramen, the Hokage's office, or the Hokage monument. Not wanting to cause a scene in public or risk doing anything in the Hokage's office, Naruto decided that the best place to attack would be at his apartment. Jumping down, Naruto was currently walking around the village observing the people and the culture there. Overall, he found it to be a nice village. It wasn't like the other villages he visited, which were small but filled with death and violence. Instead, this village had children running around unaware of any danger that laid outside the protection of the walls. But Naruto knew that despite the peaceful demeanor, there was bound to be trouble inside the village, such as Danzo and those who operated in the shadows. It was something Naruto knew too well. During the last few years he spent with Madara, he had created his own underground empire. He had a few casinos, brothels, and even a crime family called the Yakuza. However, his most valuable asset of his underground empire was a group of assassins he trained only loyal to him. What they lacked in quantity, they more than made up for in quality. His assassins lurked in every major ninja village undetected and ready act on a moment's notice. They were a brotherhood of Naruto's closest followers, people who Naruto had saved throughout his travels. Not including himself, there was about 20 people in the brotherhood. Once Naruto reached the apartment building, he saw a shitty-looking apartment building that he couldn't believe still existed. The apartment building looked old and abandoned, but what made it even worse was the spray paintings he saw on his door and around the building saying, "Die Demon," or, "Go to Hell." Naruto knew this was an indication of how the village treated his clone and wanted to burn down the village, but remembered his promise to Madara. But at this moment he was having doubts. As soon as he opened the door, he saw that the inside of his apartment, which in short looked like a giant pile of shit. For a second he thought this was a trash compost with all the dirty ramen bowls, ripped clothes, and trash everywhere. Naruto thought, God, how can anyone live in a place like this? Let's check out his fridge, I'm a little hungry. Once he opened the fridge door, he saw expired milk that was a couple weeks old and a bowl of Ichiraku ramen. Naruto thought, how big of an idiot am I to have milk that's expired a month ago, and why is the only thing I can find here is ramen? After a few hours of mediating, Naruto felt a presence approaching the apartment. He quickly hid and waited for the clone. As soon as the clone opened the door, he saw a tiny malnourished 4'2" version of himself wearing a pair of goggles with an orange Kill Me jumpsuit. Immediately Naruto ran behind the clone and plunged his sword straight through the clone's heart and sealed the body into a scroll. A few minutes later Naruto was hit with 8 years of memories. He saw and felt everything that the clone had been through. He saw all the beatings the villagers had gave him, how the stores and everyone in the village hated him, how everyone avoided him and even moved out of the apartment because they didn't want to be near him and didn't acknowledge his existence. But the worst and most infuriating memory he got was one about a certain pink-haired girl named Sakura. His clone loved her with all his heart and tried its best to make her happy in any way possible, even at his own expense. There were so many memories of the clone asking her out and calling her beautiful, but all resulted in the same outcome, which was her yelling at him and punching him. Naruto didn't know who to focus his anger on: the villagers who tormented him, the clone for being pathetic, or Sakura for being so cruel. All he knew was that he would not stand for any more abuse. There were a few good memories that he had, some from people such as Hiruzen Sarutobi Konoha's 63-year-old Sandaime, 3rd Hokage, or who he would call his Jiji grandpa. He would visit as much as he could, treating him to ramen and protect him as best he could against the villagers. Ayame, a 17-year-old girl with long, dark brown hair, black eyes, who he thought of as an older sister, and her father Tuki, an older gentleman in his 50s who he also calls Jiji, or old man, who owns Ichiraku Ramen. Iruka, his teacher, who Naruto sees as an older brother, father figure in his life. And lastly Hinata Hyuga, a fair-skinned girl with lavender hair and white eyes who was also 12. He remembered saving her from a group of bullies a few years ago, and she had been secretly following him since, but his clone was too stupid to see it. Once Naruto finished recalling all the memories, he knew it was only a matter of time until he would explode with rage and teleported to another dimension using Kamui. As he arrived in his pocket dimension, he screamed to the heavens, shouting, "Those ungrateful pieces of shits, I should kill all of them." Lifting his hand up, he shouted Rasengan Bullet Barrage, basically a rapid series of Kai Blast from Dragon Ball Z, as hundreds of blue sphere-like energy balls flew from his hands, enveloping the area with destruction. How could Madara-sensei expect me to save them? I'd be doing the Uchiha clan a favor, destroying Konoha and laying waste to the god-forsaken village. Kaden, fire style, divine destruction. White flames came blazing out of his mouth as if he was a fire dragon, laying waste to everything in his path. Naruto created a few hundred wood-style clones in the images of the villagers who he saw abuse him. Mokuton, wood style, implying death. Suddenly hundreds of wooden spikes began to form beneath the clones, implying each of them. As the spikes pierced through the clones, the whole landscape turned into a valley of wooden spikes. A few hours of destruction later, Naruto Kamui backed to his apartment and burned all the clones' orange Kill Me jumpsuits and started cleaning up the apartment to make it look livable. Now being in a better state, Naruto started to think about what he should do next. From what he was able to recall from the clones' memories, he knew that he was close with Hiruzen. But he couldn't predict how Hiruzen would react. The worst-case scenario would be that Hiruzen wouldn't believe that he was really Naruto and would try to imprison him, something he wanted to avoid out of respect for all the memories he saw from the clone. But if it did come down to it, Naruto knew he'd be able to use Kamui and leave him in his pocket dimension to die, then have a Zetsu clone replace him. At best, Hiruzen would still treat him as his grandson and ally. Although the logical choice would be to kill him, as the cons far outweighed the pros, Naruto was willing to take the chance and come clean. A few minutes later, Naruto walked over to the Hokage's office, Henge, transformed as the clone version of himself. Naruto knew that no matter what, he'd still have to act stupid or it would shock Hiruzen too much. Opening the door to Hiruzen's office, Naruto had a quick chuckle and let out one of his infamous smirks he normally has when he gets caught with a prank. "Hey Jiji, can I talk to you about something private?" Hiruzen growled, expecting another prank that Naruto pulled off and wanted to brag about. "Sure. Naruto, what do you want to talk about?" "Hey Jiji, I really need to talk to you in private. Can you tell your Anbu to leave?" Hiruzen got confused. It was common knowledge that there were Anbu in the room, but Naruto had never asked for this before, and for all Hiruzen knew, Naruto was unaware of this. "Sure, I'll tell them to leave." As soon as Naruto felt the Anbu were, he placed a privacy seal on the ground to make sure that there was no one listening to their conversation. Hiruzen was shocked, since when did Naruto know what a privacy seal was, let alone when did he learn how to activate it, and was this person even Naruto? Naruto looked at Hiruzen, still holding a smile on his face, as he knew Hiruzen was expecting his idiot clone. Now Gigi, before you say anything, it's still me, and to prove it, I remember you when you took me to go camping a few years ago and you got drunk and told me that one time you took your students to the hot springs, but you used that as an excuse to. That's enough. I thought I said never repeat that. What do you want to say, and how do you know how to use a privacy seal? Okay Gigi, now that we got that out of the way, I want to show you this. Naruto's eyes went from ocean blue to blazing red. But before Hiruzen could comment or do anything, he saw himself trapped inside Naruto's mindscape, watching that the last 8 years of Naruto's life from his perspective, besides a few things Naruto wanted to keep secret. Hiruzen saw Madara training Naruto and all of the bounties Naruto collected over the years. Hiruzen collapsed on the floor after witnessing the last 8 years of Naruto's life, and when he looked up he saw the new Naruto, not the tiny 4 feet 2 12-year idiot grandson he knew wearing an orange jumpsuit, but a young man who looked in their teens, standing 5 feet 8 dressed in black. The once ocean blue eyes were now a bleeding red eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that had 2 black star-like pattern inside each other. After a few minutes Hiruzen caught his breath and looked at the new Naruto, still chuckling. Now Gigi, I know that pain. Earlier today I got 8 years of memories from a blood clone, but you already saw that. I promised Madara-sensei that I will restore the Uchiha name and Konoha to its former glory, but I want to make a few requests and I don't think they're unreasonable. One, after the Chunin exams I want to be a Jonin, which is fair, as you saw my powers are above any cage, and I'll be more than happy to showcase my power, proving that I'm qualified, and you already saw the leadership experience as I lead a ton of coup d'etat or rebellions before, but I'd rather not explain that to the public. 2. I will be the clan head for the Uchiha and Namikaze clans after the Chunin exams. I know my heritage, and if that pathetic excuse of an Uchiha Sasuke wants to challenge me, I'll accept and face him in combat, as our clan law states. 3. I want to be able to have some say over what team I'm placed on. I refuse to be placed on a team with that fake Uchiha and pink bitch. Also, I'll sweeten the deal by giving you alliance and trade treaties with the smaller villages I helped, and I'll tell you the secret to defeat paperwork. Deal? Help me beat paperwork? Hiruzen cried, as it was the bane of his job. Naruto laughed and told him about shadow clones. Hiruzen face faulted over the table, yelling stupid stupid stupid, then asked Naruto, why don't you want to be a Jonin now? Well Gigi, if I make Jonin now everyone will start asking questions, and I want to showcase my skills to the world at the Chunin exams. Now Gigi, I'm assuming you'll keep this deal and my whole situation between us as a SS secret. Yes Naruto, no one will know about this. Thanks Gigi, and I'm still Naruto, or the Naruto you knew, but I'm not an idiot anymore, and I have awesome powers now, and I don't hate you or Jiraiya for anything. If you either of you took me in, then I wouldn't have met Madara-sensei and learned how to be strong. But thank you Gigi for trying to take care of me for all these years, I truly appreciate it, and I know you did the best you could. As soon as Naruto said that, Hiruzen hugged Naruto with all his might. When he saw the flashback of Naruto's life and all the people Naruto killed, he didn't know what kind of person this Naruto would be, especially with all the power Naruto held. If Naruto wanted to, Hiruzen knew Naruto could single-handedly bring down the village. No worries Gigi, I'll see you to talk about the teams. Afterwards Naruto Shunsen, body flickered, out in a lightning bolt. Hiruzen sighed and created 4 shadow clones to do his work as he yelled, now prepare for your defeat, as he looked at the growing stack of paperwork. Naruto appeared a few feet away from the ramen stand, transformed into his midget clone version of himself. He couldn't help but remember how he used to love ramen more than life when he was younger, but Madara refused to let him eat ramen and forced him to eat a balanced diet. It was one of the few things he was jealous his clone got to experience. While Naruto grew out of his obsession for ramen, it would be one of the things he would do to honor the people who were nice to his clone. As they fed him knowing he had no money, and they treated him as a human being unlike the villagers. As Naruto walked into the ramen shop, he saw Ayame on a ladder cleaning the shop. Without looking, as she said, "Sorry, shop's closed for the day." Before he could say anything, he saw that the ladder slipped and quickly ran over to catch her. As she fell, Naruto jumped and caught her, allowing her to fall on top of him so that she wouldn't get hurt. Ayame couldn't believe what happened. In less than a second she thought she was going to fall down, and by the time she blinked, Naruto, her cute surrogate little brother, was there to save her. Naruto laughed and said, "Ayame-chan, do you want to get off of me?" Ayame jumped up and was a little confused. Normally, Naruto would call her Ayame-ne-chan, never Ayame-chan. But for some reason she kind of liked it. "Thanks, Naruto, do you want some ramen? It's on the house for saving me," Ayame said, as she knew he valued that more than life. Surprisingly, Naruto replied by saying, "No thanks, Ayame-chan, I just came by to say hi to you and the old man. I got some exciting news for you." "Sure, Naruto, I'll make one pork ramen." "Wait, what? No ramen? You sick or something? Did you get hurt when you fell down?" Naruto laughed and said, "I'm okay thanks though, Ayame-chan, can you get your dad? I got some exciting news." Ayame, still shocked, replied yes, as she went to the back to get her dad, who was taking out the trash. When they got back, they saw Naruto with a giant black briefcase and his trademark foxy smile. Naruto smirked at the duo, then revealed his true form. As the smoke went away and they saw Naruto, both the Ayame and her dad were shocked. Ayame's dad Tsuki couldn't believe what he was seeing. Ayame, on the other hand, was blushing scarlet red. The cute little brother-like figure she knew was now taller than her and looked like a handsome hunk. After giving them a few seconds to get used to his new appearance, he started to tell them about what happened to him the past 8 years. Both Ayame and Tsuki didn't know what to say. The boy they loved was actually a clone, and the person standing in front of them was trained by one of the most infamous ninja of all time. As Naruto finished his story, he looked at them and said, "Now I'm sure you're wondering why I have a briefcase with me, right? Well, think of it as a token of my appreciation for being nice to clone me for all these years." As Naruto opened it, the briefcase was filled with 100 pounds of solid gold, a small fortune that they knew that was easily worth double the whole store. "I want both of you to have a good life and be able to open up more stores around the village." For the second time of the day, both Ayame and Tsuki were lost with words. They immediately hugged him. Ayame felt that it was too much and said, "You don't really have to do this for us, we." But before she could finish her sentence, she was cut off by her dad, who had dollar signs popping out of her eyes, saying, "We humbly accept your gift and you will have free ramen for life," as he was trying his best to drag the briefcase off to his safe at the back. Naruto laughed as he saw how happy those two were now and how much of an impact that briefcase of gold would have on their lives. When Tsuki left to put the money away, Naruto coughed and said, "Ayame-chan, I was wondering if you'd like to go out with me sometime. After getting memories from my clone, I saw how nice we're to me throughout all these years despite the reputation I have. You truly are one of the best people I know and would be honored if I could get the chance to take you out sometime. I know that I told you I plan on taking multiple wives to restore my clan, but I promise I will love all my wives the same and will always be there for you." Ayame turned into a bright red tomato. She always liked Naruto in a little brother sort of way, as she'd known him for all these years, but after seeing his new transformation, it took all of her self-control not to drool over him. Then, after hearing his story and the gift he gave her family, she wanted to kiss him on the spot. Yes, 1,000 times yes. As she went forward to kiss him, to her surprise, Naruto kissed her back with more passion than she knew possible. She felt sparks coming off and thought she was going to faint. All of a sudden her dad came back, this time with a giant knife in his hand. "Now Naruto, just because you gave me money doesn't mean you can have my daughter. If you hurt her in any way, I'll show you how good my knife skills are." Although Naruto wasn't scared, as he literally fought demons and killed S-rank ninjas for a hobby, he respected that Tsuki wanted to protect his daughter. "Now, old man, I give you my word, I would rather die than hurt her. I give you my word I will protect her with my life and will always treat her as the beautiful princess that she is." Tsuki snorted. Yeah, but I swear if you get her pregnant before marrying her I will kill you. Naruto chuckling said, you have my word and I don't blame you for being so protective of your daughter as I'm sure every guy in here is in awe of her beauty, so Ayame-chan, do you want to go out for dinner tomorrow at 7? Blushing red from all the nice words Naruto said to her, she quickly replied yes and gave him a kiss on the cheek. That's great, I'll pick you up here tomorrow and wear something casual, I got a surprise for you, as Naruto vanished in a golden flash. Back at Naruto's apartment. As Naruto flashed into his apartment he summoned the white clone Zetsu. I want you to keep tabs on Hiruzen, he says he trusts me, but you know we can never be too safe. I also want you to get all the information you can on both the Shinobi and Civilian Council. After Zetsu left, Naruto then teleported into his house he created in his pocket dimension. As he went to bed he thought about how everything is changing so fast and how tomorrow he would be going on a date with Ayame and that he'd be taking his final test at the academy. As Naruto woke up he was happy remembering that today he was going to take Ayame on a date and learn about his new team. After waking up did his usual morning routine, which was 2 hours of physical training. As he couldn't use any shadow clones to help himself physically, Naruto's version of physical training was upping his gravity seals, which were usually kept at 50 times the normal force of gravity, to 100 gs, as he did push-ups and sprints on top of an ocean. The normal human would pass out and die at 10 gs. But Naruto was far from average, and with all the modifications he went through, such as his bone transfusion and unbelievable healing rate, his body has been able to adapt to this. As he finished up he received some memories from the shadow clones he created, who were given various training tasks. When he was younger he used to hate being forced to do shadow clone training as it took a mental toll on him. But over the years Naruto got more and more used to it, especially after he absorbed the six-tailed beast, giving him more chakra. Now he normally creates around 2400 a day with clones, 100 clones dispelling every hour, giving him non-stop training. Teleporting to his apartment in Konoha, Naruto found the reports the Zetsu left for him. Giving it a quick glance, Naruto was happy Hiruzen had still trusted him and wasn't trying anything behind his back. But he was disappointed at learning just how powerful the Civilian Council had become and made a mental note that he would put an end to it. During his time with Madara, besides learning how to become a killing machine, Madara forced him to study psychology and politics, as he told him they were just as important as any jutsu. As Naruto made his way to class this time he wouldn't be looking like a scrawny orange-wearing idiot that his clone was. When he arrived to the classroom everyone stopped and looked at him. Iruka was the first to speak up. "Nah Naruto, is that you?" Naruto laughed. He'd been thinking about how to explain this sudden change to everyone. Naruto simply replied, yes, as he didn't want to waste his time dealing with all his ignorant classmates or villagers, but for those he respected he was going to give them an explanation, but now wasn't the right time. Most of the girls instantly blushed at seeing Naruto debating whether or not to switch from Sasuke's fan club to cling on to Naruto. "Naruto, stop trying to be like Sasuke, you baka," replied Sakura Haruno, Sasuke's #1 fangirl, as she tried to make Sasuke proud, but after looking at Naruto for a second time she was confused. How could this be the same annoying blonde idiot who always asked her out? Cha, Naruto baka has nothing on Sasuke. This is probably just a prank he's pulling and he's going to ask me out. Cha, it has to be, replied inner Sakura. However, Naruto ignored her and sat right near Hinata. Hinata, the soft-spoken lavender-hair girl, couldn't believe it. Naruto wanted to sit near her. Ever since the class started all he did was worship Sakura and ignore every other girl. Meanwhile Ino Yamanaka was blushing deep red. The platinum blonde girl couldn't believe her eyes. Ino thought, this new change in Naruto looks hot. I think he looks even better than Sasuke-kun. Ino was one of Sasuke's biggest fangirls, but unlike Sakura she was never rude to Naruto, instead she had always been indifferent and left him alone. Shino Aburame was still his quiet self but kept staring at Naruto. Shino wore a dark green coat that covered most of his body and had a pair of dark sunglasses. Choji Akamichi was surprised. It was the first time the heavy green shirt-wearing boy stopped eating chips. He looked over to his best friend Shikamaru Nara, who was wearing a green shirt with a small jacket on top, sleeping. "Hey Shikamaru, look at Naruto." Shikamaru looked up, saw the new Naruto and muttered, "Troublesome," before going back to sleep. Kiba Inuzuka, a hot-headed Inzuka boy who had dark grayish pants and a gray hooded fur coat. Kiba muttered, "What a fake alpha, he's still an idiot, right?" while Akamaru, his small white fur puppy, was whimpering. Sasuke Uchiha, the dark raven hair boy, was fuming. He glared at Naruto, wondering, was he always holding back? What's his true power? As Iruka was still doing the roll calls, Naruto turned his head to Hinata and whispered, "Hey Hinata, do you feel ready for the exam?" Hinata couldn't believe it. Naruto was not only sitting near her but actually talking to her. With all her willpower not to faint, she blushed and said, Yes Naruto-kun, I think I'll be ready. How about you?" Naruto smiled as he could tell that Hinata has serious confidence issues, and it was probably due to her family and all the pressure she was facing. He swore he'd help her with this, as she was one of the few people who was nice to his clone. "Yeah Hinata, I feel ready. I got a few tricks I've been hiding also. You'll define you're one of the smartest people here. I just hope we get to be on the same team." At that point Hinata fainted. She wasn't prepared for any of this. For most of her life she had been told how much of a failure she was by her family. There were even times where she thought that she'd get disowned from not reaching her family's standard. But now here was her crush telling her how smart she was. Naruto thought, I'll put up a genjutsu for now until she wakes up. As Hinata woke up she smiled, thinking it was a dream, but turned and saw Naruto smiling at her. She instantly turned bright red and looked down to see an exam completely filled out with her name on it. "Nah Naruto-kun, what's happening?" Hinata, you kind of passed out while they were handing us the exam, but don't worry, I filled it out for you and you can double check if you want before you turn it in. Oh, also, I did a genjutsu so no one knows you were sleeping. I'll see you later at the taijutsu part of the exam." Naruto then walks away and turns in his paper. As Hinata flipped through the pages to double-check Naruto's answers, surprisingly enough they all looked correct. An hour later everyone was outside getting ready for the physical part of the exam. To pass you needed to hit the targets 5 times with 10 kunai or shuriken, then be spar with your classmates and show some taijutsu ability. Most of the civilian students scored between 4 to 6 hits on the targets. The best score was currently Sasuke, which was 9 hits, while the other clan kids got 5 to 7 hits on the targets. Now was Naruto's turn. Naruto grabbed 9 kunai and launched them at the target as they all landed dead center in the bullseye. With 1 kunai left he channeled some lightning chakra into it, causing it to glow white with crackling sounds around it, and threw it at the target. When the kunai made contact with the target instantly exploded into hundreds of little pieces. Naruto smirked at Iruka, whose mouth hit the floor in disbelief, and said, "What did you think about that? Did I get 10 out of 10? Iruka and the whole class was lost for words. They never expected Naruto, the person dead last in their class, to get 5/10 hits on the target, let alone blow up the whole target with some lightning bolt-like kunai. It had to be a prank, or something had to have been wrong. Finally, someone spoke up. Sakura yelled, "Iruka-sensei, Naruto Baka cheated. He put some exploding tag or something on it. No way he can bet Sasuke-kun." Iruka, after a few minutes, gained his composure and used his big head jutsu, shouting, "Sakura, shut up, that was a regular kunai." But Naruto used a Jonin-level move and channeled lightning chakra in the kunai. He has a perfect score and he'll get bonus points for doing that. Meanwhile Sasuke was thinking, impossible, how could this dobi beat me? He was supposed to be dead last. How can I beat my brother if I can't even beat this dobi? What's his secret? As the rest of Naruto's class were walking to the training ground getting ready for a spar, Sakura tried to sneak around Naruto to smack him in the back of the head and tell him how he would never be able to compare to Sasuke. However, Naruto saw the slap coming a mile away and crushed her hand, while glaring down at her with some killer intent. Sakura froze in fear as she saw visions of herself getting killed by Naruto in almost every way imaginable. Whispering into her ear, Naruto told her, "Haruno, you are worthless, you mean nothing to me or anyone. I don't know why I liked you before, you're weak, pathetic, and intolerable. You have no friends and will die alone. I will not tolerate any more abuse from you now or ever again. The next time you try to hit me, I will show you a type of pain you've never experienced before." Sakura took a giant gulp and nodded her head as she felt something warm go down her legs. Where was the sweet Naruto that would constantly worship her? What happened to him? The words that came out of Naruto's mouth cut her to her soul. Every word he said was true. After thinking about it, she had no one who loved her. Well, Naruto used to, but not anymore. Her parents only cared about her as they could use her to get to Sasuke. She had no friends, as she'd call the other girls whores, or start rumors about them to make herself look better to impress her crush. Suddenly she felt worse than ever before. Her self-confidence issues were coming back as she was constantly rejected by Sasuke, but she'd always have Naruto asking her out and boosted her ego, making her feel good about herself. But now with Naruto rejecting her, she truly felt worthless. "Hey Sakura, peed her pants. Look at her, what a loser. Diaper bitch. Weirdo," shouted all her classmates. Everyone started laughing. Sasuke was laughing at her. Sakura didn't know what to do, so she ran home as fast as she could in tears from both the embarrassment and the revelation that Naruto just told her. She didn't need to take the final tests as she was the top girl in her class and already had enough points to pass. A few minutes after the laughter died down, everyone started looking for partners to spar with. Sasuke quickly called Naruto out, wanting to see Naruto's full power on display. Quickly everyone surrounded them as they also wanted to see just how strong Naruto truly was. After seeing what Naruto could do with the kunai and his new change in appearance, no one what to expect. Iruka went to proctor the fight, equally confused as Sasuke and the audience. On one hand, Sasuke was top of his class in everything and never lost a fight at the academy before. But after watching Naruto, he didn't know what would happen. As soon as the fight began, Sasuke shouted out, "Hey Naruto, you should be honored to fight a true Uchiha, you worthless freak." At the moment Sasuke knew he messed up as he felt Naruto's fist punch breaking some of his ribs. As Sasuke was about to fly out of the ring and be disqualified, he felt himself get picked up by the collar. To Naruto, those words enraged him to no end. Naruto had trained with Madara, the strongest Uchiha in existence, and Sasuke had the audacity to claim he was a true Uchiha. He wanted to kill him on the spot, but knew it would be more trouble than what it's worth, as the Civilian Council worshipped Sasuke like the second coming of God. Instead, he brought Sasuke in closer and whispered, "You don't deserve the Uchiha name and you will never be as good as me or your brother," then threw him into a fresh pile of shit from Kiba's dog Akamaru, prompting him to win the match via ring out. Everyone was shocked on how fast Naruto was able to win. To say this was a fight would be an overstatement. The total duration of the spar lasted less than 5 seconds and was all one-sided. Naruto chuckled and said, "Look at shithead over there," and pointed at the angry Sasuke Uchiha walking over covered with a face full of dog shit across his face and shirt. Everyone saw and started laughing. Even Iruka couldn't help but laugh at Sasuke, while Kiba and Akamaru were on the ground in tears laughing from what just happened to Sasuke. Sure, he made fun of Naruto for being dead last, but at this moment Naruto was alright in his books. Sasuke, however, was furious. How could he, the great Uchiha, get his royally kicked and end up in pile of dog shit? Someone would have to pay for his humiliation, no matter what the cost. Then he saw Naruto in the crowd laughing at him, calling him shithead, the number 1 soon-to-be rookie of the year, becoming the laughing stock of the class. It was too much for him. Sasuke, burning with rage, he quickly began forming hand signs and shouted, "Kaden, fire style, great fireball jutsu." Naruto saw this coming and could have blocked it, but he thought about those standing next to him. He was surrounded by the civilian students who would constantly bully and ridicule him. Why should he bother saving them, and quickly jumped out of the way, leaving half the students to get burnt. Maybe this would help them see the true colors of Sasuke. After jumping out of the way, Naruto choke slammed Sasuke to the ground while Iruka quickly followed him to apprehend Sasuke. Iruka picked up the unconscious Uchiha while Mizuki, the other teacher, took care of the civilians who got burnt. Although Sasuke wasn't able to launch a fully powered fireball at them, it was still enough to the point where it would leave the kids with lasting scars across their body, but not enough to cause any deaths. Iruka then said they would have a 2-hour break so everyone could get to the hospital, and afterwards they should come back to perform the jutsu portion of the exam. With that, everyone left. Naruto would create a shadow clones to do the jutsu part of the exam, which was a substitution, transformation, and a clone jutsu, as he soon found anything at the academy to be beneath him. Then he went off to go shopping for some new clothes for his date later. After shopping, Naruto went to visit Hiruzen to see how he was handling the whole situation. As walked in the room, he saw that Hiruzen already had a headache and a mountain of paperwork thanks to Sasuke's incident. Naruto came in looking bored and said, "Hey Gigi, so Sasuke's going to rot in jail now, right?" Sadly, Hiruzen couldn't say yes, as the civilian council wouldn't let their precious Uchiha rot in hopes of producing more children. Hiruzen sighed. "No Naruto, the council won't let him, he'll probably be bailed out by the council later today." But Gigi, he toasted half of their kids, why would they still bail him out? Most of the kids' parents who got burned aren't on the civilian council. There was about 3 of the parents who will probably change their minds now, but still the majority of the civilian council still worships Sasuke. Since when did Sasuke become king? It seems like he and the civilian council are in charge. Do they have more power than you? Naruto knew that his question would spark a fire in Hiruzen and that the next council meeting there would be some changes. But before Hiruzen could respond, Naruto quickly changed the subject, as he would let Hiruzen's rage build up. "Never mind Gigi, we both know who's going to pass the exams already, so let's go over the teams. Sure, teams 1 to 6 will probably change due to Sasuke, but here we go. Team 7 was supposed to be an assault team consisting of Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba, led by Kakashi, but I'm going to suspend him for a few months and turn their team into a glorified clean-up crew until he gets his act together. Also, because he has broken ribs, he will be replaced by a person named Sai, and for the meantime and turned into a Man-5 team. Team 8 will be a tracker team consisting of Yu, Hinata, and Shino, led by Kurenai. Team 9 will be follow in their parents' footsteps and will be Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino, led by Asuma. What do you think? Yup, sounds good to me Gigi, as long as the fake Uchiha and pink bitch aren't with me, I'm fine." Then all of a sudden, a little kid no more than 6 years old, with a giant blue scarf, burst through the doors and shouted, "Prepare to die, old man." As the kid was running towards Hiruzen with wooden shuriken, he tripped on his scarf and fell face first onto the wood floor. Hiruzen took out his pipe and sighed. It was the 3rd attack this week by his grandson Konohamaru. Naruto was in tears, laughing like a hyena at the little kid who fell down. Konohamaru quickly got back up and shouted, "This isn't funny," as he charged to Naruto hoping to get some respect back, only to fall down again. Naruto joined him as he fell down laughing. As he got up, he saw the kid fuming red with anger. "That's good Gaki, I haven't laughed that hard in ages." "What's your name?" Konohamaru puffed his chest up and said, "I'm Konohamaru Sarutobi, honorable grandson of Hiruzen Sarutobi, and I demand you apologize." Naruto chuckled as the kid thought he could boss him around. It was a million years too early for that. In some ways it reminded Naruto of his clone always being an idiot. No thanks, I like the name Gaki better." Konohamaru was shocked most people would bow before the name or let him get away with anything. Something was different about the blonde man in front of him. "My name isn't Gaki, it's Konohamaru. If you call me Gaki one more time, I'll make you sorry." "Gaki." Konohamaru charged at Naruto, wondering if would really do anything to him. But as soon as he reached Naruto, he felt a stinging pain in his head as got sent flying back to the wall as Naruto flicked his forehead. "You got spunk, kid. Meet me tomorrow at 6 a.m. in training ground 5 and I'll help you beat the old man." Naruto said, still laughing from everything. Hiruzen's headache suddenly got worse as his idiot grandson was now going to get training from his ex-idiot grandson who used to be known for pranks. Konohamaru couldn't believe that he was going to get training from someone who wasn't a complete weirdo and treated him like a normal person. You got it, boss. Then came an odd-looking man wearing dark purple tights and a snug-fitted purple shirt, with dark glasses on. Just what do you think you're doing to the honorable grandson, you? Naruto knew what the man was about to imply and wasn't going not tolerate any more disrespect. Forming a quick series of hand signs, he shouted, demonic illusion, Ika Ika sausage party, and suddenly that person collapsed. Sweat came pouring down Hiruzen's hat. He didn't even want to think about the kind of torture Ebisu was facing right now. Just hearing the name made him shiver. After that he swore to never get on Naruto's bad side. Naruto, can you tell me what you just did, you Ebisu? Hiruzen said shakily, as part of him didn't want to find out. Making his signature smirk, Naruto said, since Konohamaru is here, let's just say that he's experiencing a live performance of ICHA Wild Amazon Edition, but instead of girls he'll be seeing and experiencing everything from guy. He'll wake up in a few minutes and can give you more details. Konohamaru's eyes were seeing stars. His new teacher was able to knock out the other guy without even touching him. Boss, you're going to teach me that, right? No, I'm making it a forbidden technique. I'm making it illegal to teach or use against any fellow Konoha citizens, shouted Hiruzen. But Gigi, if I learn that I could be Hokage. No. But, no. Laughing, Naruto knew this would be the exact same thing his clone would say. Trying to break the fight up, Naruto coughed and said, don't worry, I have some stronger tricks that I can teach you, then disappeared in a flash. 7 p.m. outside the ramen stand. Naruto has made his way to meet Ayame. He started to think more and more about her, all to realize he truly knew nothing about her other than she's a good cook. How could Dense was his clone? The only things his blood clone did was think about ramen and pranks, but given his situation as was a miracle in itself that he didn't go insane. In front of the ramen stand stood a girl with long dark brown hair wearing a light green traditional kimono. Taking a second look at her, Naruto almost couldn't recognize her as he'd seen her in uniform. Ayame was blushing as saw Naruto had brought her a bouquet of roses to her. This was certainly not the old Naruto that she knew. Instead, it was a mature guy with a strange aura of confidence made her want to follow him. Naruto, you shouldn't have gotten me this, Ayame said with a deep smile on her face as she smelled the roses. Nonsense, you're a beautiful lady and deserve to be treated like one. Naruto smiled as he grabbed her hand and led her to the Golden Leaf, one of the most expensive restaurants in the village. As they arrived, Ayame was impressed Naruto brought her to such an expensive restaurant, and they started talking there for a while about their lives and stuff. After leaving the restaurant, Naruto escorted her back home, but he knew something was feeling off with her. He sensed that while she looked happy, something was troubling her. Stopping a few blocks away from her house, he asked her, "Is there something on your mind? You seem a little sad." Ayame gave a fake smile as said no. But Naruto knew it something was lingering on her mind, as she wasn't the cheery person he always remembered as. Trying to bait her, he innocently said, "Is it because of the date we had?" Ayame frowned. Why would you say that this has been the highlight of my day? It's just that with the restaurant expanding, my dad's leaving me in charge of the old place while he builds the new one across town. I always worked with him, and now that he's leaving it feels weird. As she said that, Naruto knew exactly how she felt, as he was feeling the same thing more or less, as he always knew Madara would die soon, but the pressure of creating world peace was another challenge in itself, because the only way for true peace would be world domination. But not in a sense that Madara tried to take, which was ruling by an iron fist. In some ways Madara was right, people only respected power, and without it no one would listen to him. Instead it would be harder, as he would not only need the power to back it up, but also he'd have to manipulate everything from the shadows. Ruling with an iron fist and killing everyone who disagreed would work, but would leave you with no people to rule over. I know how you feel. I didn't tell you this before, but Madara-sensei died a few days ago, so I know your pain. Just know I'll always be there for you. Ayame hugged Naruto and continued to talk about it for the next few hours until giving Naruto a kiss as she went inside. On his way home, Naruto sensed a serious fight going on. Interested in what was happening, he created a shadow clone to investigate as he didn't want to waste his time with such a weak opponent. Clone Naruto. Sprinting over to the woods, he saw Mizuki smirking with a large scroll as he was making his way to finish off Iruka, who had a giant shuriken in his back as he protected a crying Kiba and his dog. Enraged, Naruto kicked Mizuki into a tree, splitting it in half. As he looked towards Iruka, yanked the shuriken out of his back, causing a massive pile of blood to gush out even more. Naruto then held his hands over Iruka's back as they turned green and started healing him. Iruka, still trying to recover from his wounds, looked at Naruto and said, "Nah Naruto, when did you? Only to get cut off. Not now, you should be fine. Kiba, take him and run now," barked Naruto, not leaving anything up for question or debate. Kiba, too scared to do anything, nodded, grabbed Iruka and ran for dear life as he didn't want to be the cause for Iruka dying. With Kiba and Iruka gone, Naruto turned around to focus his attention on Mizuki, who had just gotten up from the kick. "You want to know why everyone hates you so much? It's because you hold the nine-tailed demon fox inside of you," Mizuki shouted, trying to scare Naruto so he'd get a chance to kill him. "I'll show you what a true demon is," Naruto said before vanishing. Mizuki threw a volley of kunai at him, but Naruto vanished. Suddenly Mizuki felt a sharp pain on his shoulder as Naruto stabbed his shoulder. "You should be honored you got to see my blade, Mizuki Baka. I normally wouldn't bother with nuisances like you, but today I guess I'll make an exception." Torture scene. Mokuton, wood style, prisoner binding as the tree around him started to wrap around him. Soon Mizuki's arms and legs were trapped as the wooden branches held him down. Mizuki was now shivering in fear and went into survival mode as he tried to convince Naruto to spare him. "Please don't kill me. I'll do anything you say. I'll tell you about Uchiha." Naruto had just threw a fire-infused kunai at Mizuki's balls, effectively ending his manhood. "I never knew my aim was that good, being able to hit that small of yours," Naruto laughed as Mizuki screamed in pain. "Now Mizuki-tem, you're lucky I have to make this quick as there's some Anbu coming here, but before you go, tell me, do you like sushi as much as I do?" With a couple quick swings, Mizuki's arms and legs fell off. But as the rest of Mizuki's body was falling due to the fact that his limbs, who were trapped against the tree, got hacked off. Until another kunai went through his chest, hanging him against the tree like a crooked painting. "Well, I guess you must be lucky today. Have fun in hell, Amaterasu," Naruto said before grabbing the scroll on the ground as he made his way to the real Naruto. Behind him, the black flames of Amaterasu consumed Mizuki's body until he became nothing more than ashes. End of torture scene. When the Anbu arrived, they were shocked to say the least. The only thing remaining was Mizuki's arms and legs on the ground and a pile of ashes. As the clone found the real Naruto, it gave him the scroll and dispelled, leaving him with all of its memories. Out of curiosity, Naruto activated his Sharingan as he looked through the scroll. Disappointingly, he couldn't find anything useful there. Sealing the scroll up again, he made his way to Hiruzen's office as he had to explain the whole situation. After hearing Kiba's explanation of how everything started, Naruto was pissed. Iruka got hurt because Kiba's dumbass was stupid enough to believe that if he took the scroll he wouldn't get the title of dead last. "Kiba, you dumbass, you truly do deserve to be dead last, falling for something stupid as that," Naruto barked as he held Kiba up against the wall. Hiruzen sighed, not knowing what to do. On one hand, Kiba did deserve to be punished for stealing the forbidden scroll while he was in the bathroom. But he didn't want to let Naruto go around killing everyone. "Naruto, put him down," Hiruzen said like a parent trying to appease a whining child, but Naruto still pinned Kiba against the wall while Akamaru was crying to have Naruto release him. Seeing this wasn't working, Hiruzen tried to settle the peace by asking, "Naruto, what do you want his punishment to be, seeing how you solved this problem?" Releasing him, Naruto grunted, Since this all happened because he didn't want to be called dead last, why don't we give him a special headband saying dead last until he makes Chunin? Next day, as Naruto walks into class getting ready to have his team meeting, he smirked looking at the dead last engraved under Kiba's forehead protector. Kiba looked a little more beat up than before as he had a few bandages on his arms and there were a couple bite marks on his leg. Up his pride, Kiba went up to Naruto and said, "Thanks for saving me, my mom wants you to come over to dinner next week." Naruto clearly knew that Kiba probably got a giant kicking from his mom after learning about what happened and said sure. As the rest of his classmates were coming in, he noticed Sakura, who was usually the first person to come in class, still wasn't here. Surprisingly walked in and sat right next to Naruto. Feeling a change in heart, she decided to pursue someone new, and this person wouldn't be half as toxic as Sasuke, who wasn't here as he was still recovering at the hospital, as Hiruzen was able to convince the civilian council to force Sasuke to heal without the use of any medical chakra. Looking at the blonde boy near her, Ino nervously said, "Hey Naruto-kun," as she was used to getting rejected by the ones she loved. For a few seconds Naruto didn't respond as he saw Hinata looking sad as she sat on the other side of him, but brushed it off as he knew they would be on the same team. Naruto, are you okay?" Ino asked again, trying to get his attention. "Hey Ino-chan, sorry about that, I was just thinking about some things," Naruto said, looking back at her. "Chan?" Naruto called me Chan. Ino thought, "Oh, what were you thinking about?" Ino asked. "I was thinking about what teams we'll be on. Hopefully me and you will be on the same team," Naruto lied as he already knew the team placement. Blushing, Ino replied, "Yeah, I'd like that," as she was thinking about how weird it was to have her crush respond back. Was Sasuke gay, emo, or just maybe a combination of all three, as he never spoke to her or any other girls? Iruka walked into the room and started to do roll call, and surprisingly Sakura still wasn't there. A few minutes later Sakura arrived while Iruka was giving a speech about life after the academy. As much as she tried to sneak in, everyone in the class started chanting, "Diaper bitch," or "Piss pants," as she made her way to an empty seat. Naruto laughed. It was nice watching the pink banshee experience ridicule and embarrassment, especially after how she treated him for all those years. On the inside, Sakura was crying. After coming home yesterday, her parents were there to surprise her as they thought she was going to be the #1 ranked kunoichi of her class. Instead, they found out she ditched the final exam, and on top of that she pissed her pants. Saying her parents was pissed would be like saying the devil was kind of bad. Sakura had turned from being the leader of the Sasuke fan club and bullying others to being the social pariah of the class. "Alright class, before I announce the teams, I present this year's dead last Kiba Inuzuka, and sadly Rookie of the Year Sasuke Uchiha, who isn't here as he's recovering from Naruto's fight, and the Kunoichi of the Year is Hinata Hyuga. One more things before I announce teams, we have a new person joining us today. His name is Sai. He was on a previous team but will be filling in for Sasuke. So this year's teams will be 1 to 6. Team 7 Kiba, Sai, Sakura, and Sasuke led by Kakashi Hatake. Team 8 Naruto, Hinata, and Shino led by Kurenai Yuhi. Team 9 Ino, Choji, and Shikamaru led by Asuma Sarutobi. All of your instructors will arrive shortly. Now I wish all of you good luck, and it was an honor teaching your class, Iruka said, giving one final salute before leaving. Hinata had a giant smile as she found out her team and turned around to look at Naruto when she heard the news. Meanwhile Ino had the opposite reaction but knew somehow she wouldn't be on Naruto's team. Hokage's office. So these will be the teams that you're leading, Hiruzen stated to the Jonin in front of him as he handed them a student's profile. Glancing at the team selections, Kakashi frowned. But Hokage-sama, I thought I requested Naruto and we always paired the dead last with the best to balance out the teams. Sorry, but Kiba is this year's dead last, and even if he was on your team he wouldn't get along with Sasuke or Sakura, and you've been chosen to teach Sasuke as you have the Sharingan, Hiruzen replied as Kakashi started to frown. The rest of the Jonins were satisfied with their teams as Kurenai had requested Hinata and Asuma request the trio he got. Seeing most everyone was satisfied, Hiruzen said, "Everyone is dismissed now but Kakashi stay behind." Now that everyone left, Hiruzen did a giant sigh. "I know you want Naruto, but trust me, it wouldn't work. Did you know that he put Sasuke in the hospital a few days ago? Also, just because you aren't on the same team doesn't mean you can't teach him, and he knows about his parents." Kakashi's jaw hit the floor after hearing that. On the report it stated Naruto was dead last, and from what it indicated he had no skill. But after hearing what Hiruzen said, he definitely had to meet Naruto. Back at the academy, as most of the students were waiting patiently for their teachers to come, the new kid Sai made his way to his new teammates. Looking at Sakura, he asked, "Did you really piss yourself?" "Yubaka, what kind of a question is that?" Sakura shouted, only for the rest of her classmates to laugh and tell him about that story. A few minutes later, a woman with dark red eyes wearing bandages across her body walked into the room. "Teammate, I'm Kurenai Yuhi and I'll be your squad leader. Meet me on the rooftop in 5 minutes." As she disappeared into a pile of leaves. Amaki. 1 second Ebisu was protecting the honorable grandson from the hooligan named Naruto, and the next he found himself trapped in a room filled of 20 might guys shouting about youth. "Kai, dispel, stop, I can't take this anymore," Ebisu pleaded, trying to escape the room. Then at once all 20 might guys gave Ebisu his signature smile but spoke in a deeper tone. "Yush, we will show you the true power of our youth," shouted all 20 might guys there, now shirtless and wearing a tiger skin thong. They started slowly walking to him, not breaking eye contact. As Ebisu tried to run away, he realized that he was trapped against a wall, and suddenly, the next 24 hours were the worst hours of his life. While Ebisu was experiencing the genjutsu, only 5 minutes has passed in the real world and he was in Hiruzen's office. Hiruzen had never seen a person have such a reaction to a genjutsu before. Would it be wrong to wish that kind of pain to his enemies? As he heard Ebisu's screams. When Ebisu woke up, he found himself getting stared at by Hiruzen and Konohamaru. Remembering what happened, he jumped up and shouted, "Where is Naruto? I have to apologize now." As he left, Hiruzen and Konohamaru noticed that Ebisu was walking with a limp. "Hey Gigi, how come he's walking funny? Let's just say you don't want to find out." Needless to say, after that day Ebisu would never look at Guy the same and made sure to never get on Naruto's bad side. Also, for the next 2 days he refused to sit down or fall asleep. Whenever he was asked by some of his friends, he would shrug it off, refusing to talk about it. And he required a few weeks of mental therapy.